and thanks for joining me today on Good Ship Happens. And yes, it's been really kind of fun to see all the wonderful new cruise ships coming out right now too. In this month so far, in November, the Oceania Allure was just christened, of course, too, and Celebrity Excel was just christened. I think last week. That's Celebrity Cruises' new ship, and also Disney Destiny was christened too. And the Star Princess, okay, the Star Princess was christened, I think, on November 7th, and that's the one that was christened by Matthew McConaughey and his wife, which is really, really great. And so it's really exciting to see new ships being christened, and we've got, I think, one more coming up, I think, later in this year. I'll share more about that too, and also, but new ships coming out next year too, which is great, but also, as mentioned, and last week that's why I wore the big hat, kind of like a cowboy hat. But what happened was Port of Galveston. I was down at Port of Galveston on November 7th. Got invited because they did the ribbon cutting for the Port of Galveston port, which is where Embassy Cruises has their ship coming in, the Embassy Seascape. And they invited me and meeting people too, so I flew down to Houston, Texas first the night before. Then went down Port of Galveston. It's gorgeous, brand new terminal, so beautiful, amazing. The weather cooperated, it's really beautiful. They did a special ribbon cutting. The executives from Galveston there too, which is great too, which is really fun too. And it was really, really beautiful. And the port is gorgeous. And the ship, of course, I was in the Embassy Seascape in December 2022 when she's christened, okay? And she's a gorgeous ship. They've added some kind of fun southern twist to it. It's kind of fun too, which is really great too. But it was just amazing to be on board the ship again, all day, overnight. Yes, I got to stay on the ship overnight, which is great. I'm so excited. And also, I think I mentioned this too, is what they do is they had accommodations for all of us to be on board the ship overnight. And guess where I stayed? I stayed in the Embassy Yacht Club. And yes, another great example of how my butler did it, right? I was going to Teppanyaki, which is a really, really fantastic restaurant, and my butler sees me, and he walked me over to Teppanyaki. I got private escorted to Teppanyaki, right, and then different things came up too, and also I was kind of curious about what we did as far as our luggage, because normally if you go on a cruise ship for a regular cruise vacation, what you do is they want you to have your check bags out the night before. They collect them, take them down to where disembark, that's where you get your luggage. But in this case, I reached out to him to see what I had to do. I mean, I had a roll bag and another bag because I had just been attending another cruise conference, but he said put it outdoors, and they didn't take it. What happened was my butler brought my one bag back to me, and I want to get some breakfast real quick before I disembark. But with the Embassy Yacht Club, you've got your own private restaurants, okay? He took me over where I get breakfast real quick, put my luggage right on the other area. When you're ready, let me know. Down with breakfast is fantastic. And then I talked to the one guy at the outside the area too, and he called my butler, and my butler took my luggage down for me. So once again, another great example of how with the Embassy Yacht Club, which is the Embassy Cruises, most of their ships now, they're adding more on their new ships plus other ships too. But it's really a great example about that ship within a ship experience. It's wonderful, and as mentioned, to me, I tell people, okay, it's like going to cruise heaven. Okay, it was so great to be back on the yacht club. I didn't want to get off the ship. It was so much fun, so exciting. I like what they've done too. As a ship is so beautiful anyway, and different areas. I loved it. We had great entertainment on board the ship. They have, in fact, I went to that too. It was called Dueling Pianos. The pianists play different things too. It's really fun too, but just different things to really experience on board the ship, plus some Texas kind of ambience too, kind of fun too. But it was really great to be on board that ship. But also, definitely, Port of Galveston. Think about that as a cruise port to depart from too, because there are ships that are going to be sailing out of Port Galveston now too. I know they just made a big announcement with Icon of the Seas. That's Royal Caribbean's second newest ship. She came out in, last year. The biggest ship ever built in the world. Royal Caribbean, Icon of the Seas, and that's one that has their chief dog officer, the first one. Her name is Rover, Golden Retriever, and they just announced that in 2027, Icon of the Seas is going to be sailing out of Port of Galveston. okay, which is really great. Something else came up too. I think I'm not sure about this too. Is also I know that with Carnival they're going to be they've got ships. They've actually been sailing Port of Galveston for 25 years, which I didn't realize. But with Port of Galveston, what they're doing is Carnival Cruise Line, as mentioned, they've been home porting ships in Port of Galveston for 25 years. In fact, I saw two of the ships when I was leaving Port of Galveston myself, going back to the airport. What they're doing is they made a big announcement. What they're doing is they're swapping home ports for Sunshine and Spirit. So what they're doing is they're changing some deployment plans for Carnival Sunshine and Carnival Spirit for 2027 and 2028. The Sunshine is going to now home port in Galveston, Texas, and then the Spirit is going to be heading up to Tampa. Okay, and the reason that Carnival decided to do it, they mentioned this because they said the decision was a response on demand to Galveston, and the 3,000 passenger Carnival Sunshine accommodates about 40% more guests than Spirit. Okay, and as mentioned, as far as the new Tampa itineraries, they're going to include 8-day Panama Canal cruises, and I think that would be just phenomenal too. Because a long time ago, I had some friends actually did Panama Canal cruise. It sounded so gorgeous, and you have to have a smaller ship to actually sail through the Panama Canal, which makes more sense. So once again, Carnival just announced they're actually going to be swapping ships. Okay, so in 2027 and 2028, the Carnival Sunshine is going to be home porting in Galveston, Texas. Okay, and the Spirit, which has been sailing out of Galveston, I think I saw her when I was coming back from Port of Galveston myself too. With Carnival Cruise Line, they dock at different areas of Port of Galveston. Okay, where in this case with Embassy Cruises, they got their own private port area, just brand new built. It's gorgeous. Okay, what they're doing is the Carnival Spirit is going to be sailing out of Tampa, and she's going to be offering some new activities, including 8-day Panama Canal cruises. So keep in mind too. So once again, definitely think about Galveston. It's really, it's a really growing port, but also as mentioned, they had just opened this brand new cruise terminal for Embassy Cruises, and also some people from Norwegian Cruise Line were there too, because they're going to have ships sailing out of this Port of Galveston port. NCL is going to do that too, Norwegian Cruise Line too, so that's great too. Also, some exciting things too is with AMA Waterways. They've been around for close to 24 years now. They're privately owned, and they're started by Rudy Schreiner and Kristen Connors, another executive. And what they did was they're known for sailing on the European waterways, but also Egyptian waterways too. And they just announced they're expanding their African collection with 4 new itineraries debuting next year. 4 new brand new itineraries. How exciting is it? I think that's so exciting too. What they're doing is they're expanding their African collection with 4 new itineraries debuting in 2026. And they just announced this actually last week, and it's going to be the expansion of their popular African safaris and wildlife cruise program, which includes introducing 4 new itineraries beginning in August next year. And this is designed to highlight the continent's remarkable diversity. And these new journeys will include a luxurious 3-night Kobe River cruise along the intimate 24-passenger Sambazi Queen with immersive land programs too. And then it's going to add some new destinations, including Kenya, Zanzibar, and the Skeleton Coast too. And also the new itineraries blends in exceptional wildlife too, with opportunities to really experience the region's culture, etc. too. And they've got ranging lengths include from 9 to 18 nights. So these new journeys will include the iconic African classic Kenya and southern Africa and African wonders at the Skeleton. Also, and like I said, their African Progress program is really meaningful. Catherine, who is the CEO of AMA Waterways, had mentioned it was one of the first cruises she experienced at AMA Waterways after becoming CEO, and it's really a really unforgettable immersion expression too. And she mentioned we're thrilled to offer even more opportunities for our guests to experience a trip of a lifetime too. Seeing wildlife right on the riverbanks, connecting with amazing people, and exploring the rich cultures and landscapes that this region is so special for too. And their guests can really explore different southern and eastern African comfort and style while supporting local communities too, which is great too, and also sustainability tourism too. Also, some highlights they mentioned from Cape to the Falls, which is a journey from Cape down to Victoria Falls, which features penguin encounters. I love that. At Boulders Beach, and multiple river and land safaris. Also, an optional 2-night Johannesburg extension. They've got their iconic Africa 14 nights. This features Cape Town, Victoria Falls, a 3-night stay in Greater Kruger National Park, home to the Big Five, also classic Kenya, and Southern Africa. These are 14 to 18 nights. This is a cross-regional experience combining the Chobe River and also Victoria Falls with Kenya's, I think it's pronounced Amboseli, and also their Masai Mara reserves, and also an optional Zanzibar extension. And they've got their African wonders and the Skeleton Coast. Okay, it's 15 nights. This includes showcases landscapes of Namibia, and also Natural Reserve, the Etosha National Park, and also the dramatic Skeleton Coast. And these new itineraries are available for 2026 and 2027 departures. And they're created for travelers really wanting to seek a really, really authentic and enriching African experience with its iconic wildlife, and also combining boutique accommodations, expert local guides, which is great too, and Waterway signature personalized service too. And they mentioned too is at the heart of each itinerary is going to be the intimate 28-passenger, I think it's pronounced Zambezi Queen, which is designed for up-close wildlife viewing along Africa's legendary Chobe River. It's eco-friendly and also thoughtfully crafted, and it features a solar heating system, low emission generators, also water jet propulsion, and guests can enjoy private balconies with unobstructed river views, open-aired sun deck with plunge pool, also complimentary South African wines, beers, spirits, and drinks throughout the day too. So once again, definitely think about this, because once again, years ago when my mom had an agency, my dad actually had a chance to do African safari. My mom didn't go with him, but he went and he had a great time. Just amazing. I mean, the pictures he shared were just so beautiful, and just another way to kind of think about seeing Africa too. I've got another business friend. He's a great person, and he's got his own. It's called Natamba African Safaris. He's really great. I met him several times. Great person. He actually was from South Africa, relocated to the U.S., then moved back there. But Natamba African Safaris is another great experience to think about too if you're thinking about going to Africa. But also, it's fun because once again, on the waterways, remember, their ships are smaller, and it's great what they can do too, because they're really expanding their African collection with 4 new itineraries that are going to debut in 2026, coming up next year. Have fun too. Also, as mentioned, we've got something coming up fun too is who doesn't like the Rose Parade? Okay, the Rose Bowl Parade, which is the way how we debut the new year. Okay, well, guess who's going to be doing a special float there next year, sorry. It's actually January 1st, 2026, but it's Rose Bowl Parade. Guess who's going to have a new part of the parade too? Princess Cruises, okay? They're going to ring in the new year with a spectacular cruise down the Colorado Boulevard as a larger-than-life floor replica of their newest ship, the Star Princess. And she sets sail, of course, not on the river, of course, not on the ocean, but she sets sails going down the world-famous Rose Bowl Parade presented by Honda on January 1st, 26 in Pasadena, California, too. As mentioned, Star Princess is their new float for this Rose Bowl Parade. She was just christened a couple weeks ago by Matthew McConaughey and his wife. But also, it's really, with this Rose Bowl Parade float that Princess Cruises is doing, it's designed to really capture the awe and wonder of sailing through Alaska's legendary Inside Passage. And the float's going to celebrate the upcoming 2026 inaugural season of Alaska for Star Princess. And she's the newest star in the Princess Cruise Line fleet, too. And really, Princess Cruises is really, I think, the #1 cruise line in Alaska. And they're going to bring their great land to life with vivid color and imagination, too. And of course, the float's going to showcase towering glaciers, okay, that shimmer with icy blues, also bald eagles, also sprouting humpback whales, and bears salmon fishing too, and all crafted with thousands of fresh flowers, seeds, bark, and natural documents too. So once again, with Princess Cruises, their new ship, which just came out a couple weeks ago, the Star Princess, she's going to actually sail down Colorado Boulevard in America's New York celebration at the Rose Bowl Parade on January 1st, 2026. And of course, she'll be sailing down Colorado Boulevard. Okay, so she's sailing down the street, not on the ocean, but how fun to have a special float like that. I can't wait to see it. I love watching the Rose Bowl Parade myself, too. My parents had a chance to see it a long time ago, too. They flew out to California to do it themselves, too, but just amazing experience. But I love how they're doing, because she's going to sail down the Colorado Boulevard, okay, but it's a float, okay? Not the real ship, but a float. But how fun. I think that's just exciting news, isn't it? Something else that's kind of fun, too, is, with Carnival Cruise Line, they just opened up their new private island, Celebration Key. And what they did was they just opened up earlier this year. I think I wrote about it. And it's Carnival Cruise Line's, Carnival Corporation's private destination on the Grand Bahama Island. And it's actually what they're going to be doing, too, is Princess Cruises is going to introduce port calls at Celebration Key this next year in 2026. The first Princess ship's going to call there will be November 1st, when the Star Princess will visit there too, and the Regal Princess is going to have its first call November 9th. Additional ships, the Korean Princess and the Enchanted Princess, the Sky Princess, Sun Princess, are also going to be visiting there too in 2026, 2027, and also in 2027, 2028 for Caribbean and Panama seasons too. And the Celebration Key Island is really provides experiences, which is great too. And it's, like I said, Carnival Corporation's private island. They just opened it up this year, earlier in the summertime, but looks great. I've written about it too. And how fun that Princess Cruises is going to also include port calls at Celebration Key. Yes! Another great way to kind of float to a great place too. In this case, you'll be sailing there on the ocean, of course, not down that boulevard. Okay. How fun. And something else I want to share too is, I know that we had some really horrific things that went on, of course, with the Hurricane Melissa. It was such a heartbreaking experience. I actually had been down in Florida, moved back before a big hurricane hit, thank goodness, but just horrible. And it's one that hit so hard with New Orleans, etc. But also Hurricane Melissa came up early this year, and it really was so devastating. The cruise lines, of course, couldn't go there too, but what they're doing too is now they're working hard to make big strides as far as recovering from Hurricane Melissa. And the visit experience is coming back. They just mentioned that the director of tourism for the Jamaican Tourism Board mentioned about 30 to 40 hotels, resorts on the island are already welcoming guests. Okay, and this I think it's the Stansted Airport in Montego Bay, which was the hardest hit of Jamaica's 3 international airports, is likely resumed to national operations too. And Philip Rose, who's the Deputy Director of Tourism for the Jamaica Tourism Board, mentioned that the island resort areas now have electricity and running water, and local volunteers have really played a major role as far as clearing the roads too. Somebody else I mentioned too was actually what the Jamaicans, they recognize that tourism has to open up too, because that really kind of drives their economy too, okay? And as mentioned, the Jamaican Tourism Board is really resuming marketing campaigns in the United States featuring messaging designed for Jamaican travelers that 3 things that made you fall in love with Jamaica. In the first place, are still very much there too. And the good thing is too is they're coming back, which is great too. It's going to take more time, but once again, there are ways to provide donations too. This came up when I was at Sea-Trade Cruise Global Conference, Cruise Bowl Conference too. Cruise Bowl Conference, which I attended back in first part of November. They mentioned that too, because you know with the Sandals Resorts, okay, they get a way to donate too, which is great too, and so they're taking donations too. The cruise lines have really ramped up on what they're doing as far as donating funds to Jamaica to help them out to getting through this mess with Hurricane Melissa, and like I said, they mentioned too as far as hotel openings. They mentioned some hotels and resorts in Jamaica are up and running, but some were really heavily damaged by the storm, remain closed too. But once again, the ones that are still closed probably won't open up till next year. This includes Hyatt's Inclusive Collection, which has been in operations and new bookings, and its 8 Montego Bay shared properties through January next year. Also Sandals Resorts, International Sandals Montego Bay, Sandals Royal Caribbean, and Sandals South Coast, which won't open up until May next year. Also, what they're doing is they're providing updates too, which really kind of helps too as far as restoring the booking momentum and reducing cancellations too. And I know Sandals has communicated plans to upgrade 3 of its most heavily damaged resorts while they're closed. And while hosting a special November 13th virtual town hall with the travel advisors, Sandals Resorts International Executive Chairman Adam Stewart said that Sandals South Coast, Sandals Montego Bay, and Sandals Royal Caribbean will receive major improvements, which is great too. So keep in mind too, because once again, they are taking donations. I know that with Sandals Resorts, they're taking donations to help people in Jamaica too. Different cruise lines are doing like crazy. You know, Carnival did. Royal Caribbean has done that too. So keep in mind too, because they really need that more than ever. And Jamaica is such a beautiful area too. It's beautiful. I've been there a couple of times myself too. Just keep in mind because they could really use some help too. But they will come back. Okay. And then something else that came up too is as far as entertainment on cruise ships, okay, it's really great, and I love seeing shows, of course, on cruise ships myself. Having just back on the MSC Seascape, we had a chance to be on board the ship for evening entertainment. It was phenomenal during the day too. But once again, I know that next year, in March of next year, Norwegian Cruise Lines is going to debut 2 new shows on their all-new Norwegian Luna. They're going to have Rocket Man, which is a celebration of Elton John. How fun. It's a fun-filled tribute to this music legend. And also their mixed reality production called Heiko, and both were really developed by Norwegian Cruise Line's award-winning creative studios in Tampa, Florida. And it's really great because like Norwegian Cruise Line has had a proud history of really revolutionary entertainment scene too. They really kind of pioneered Broadway productions, creating experience-only NCL experiences too. And what's fun too is Harry Summer, who's the president CEO of Norwegian Cruise Lines Holdings, said, "As a lifelong music fan, I'm especially excited to celebrate the work of Elton John, an icon whose influence spans generations, with a show that really is dynamic and unforgettable as the artist himself too. With Norwegian Luna, we're building on the tradition of delivering spectacular new productions and also immersive programming designed to really surprise and entertain our guests too." And also, they got something new too. The Norwegian Luna is going to feature, it's called Luna, I think it's TK, It's an adults-only show for guests 21 years and older. And Sid Norman's presents a tribute to Eagles. And they got 2 Imagine deck parties, Island Nights. Also, they've got their Latin Live, and more fun to really enjoy on board the ship too. So more about the shows with Norwegian Cruise Line, Norwegian Luna. Okay, Rocket Man is a celebration of Elton John, and it's really, I think, electrifying concert style show that features power vocals, choreography, and also costumes that reflect Elton John's iconic style. Grand pianos, okay, vibrant LED visuals, and also footage, great, and includes the top behind the big game halftime show, Cirque du Soleil, and other global music tours too. Another one they're introducing too is called HIKO, HIKO, Innovation Meets Wonder, and this is a sci-tif show blending 3D mapping, multi-sensory visuals, and it's really an original score exclusive to Norwegian Cruise Line, Norwegian NCL. Guests can really meet HIKO, the show's character, okay, around the ship, and 4 elite gymnasts will perform gravity-defying acts, striking in sci-fi costumes too, okay. Also, we've got the Sea of Discovery, and this is actually an under the sea festival, and kids can actually explore a interactive underwater adventure of glow games, okay, whimsical costumes, hands-on activities, and also they've got their Luna Decay. It's adults only nightlife, and Luna Decay brings Las Vegas style energy with neon lights, signature cocktails, also pop-inspired performances, classic circus acts with reimagined, edgy, modern costumes. Also, they've got other entertainment. This includes Sid Norman's presents a tribute to Eagles, which is an upgraded live to the Sid Norman's Poorhouse with live band karaoke, and also 90s set. Also evening shows in a Vegas-style Luna Theater, and that's also includes their Norwegian Luna Eclipse Party, and also they've got deck parties, of course, too. Island Nights brings island vibes with a modern pop twist. They've got Latin Live, which heats up the pool deck with live music and dance performances too. And of course, with the Norwegian Luna, she's going to start sailing in April 2026, so next year. But in April, Norwegian Luna will actually sail on 7-day Caribbean cruises to destinations including Roatan, Honduras, Costa Maya, and Cozumel, Mexico, Harvest Caye, Belize, Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, Tortola, British Virgin Islands. Been there, it's gorgeous. St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, of course, Great Stirrup Cay, Bahamas, and that's their actual island too. So definitely keep it in mind, because that is really kind of fun, isn't it? And with Great Stirrup Cay, they're adding more there too. So I'll share more about that in a future episode. But how fun, because they're expanding it. And with Great Stirrup Cay, that's Norwegian Cruise Line's private outline. They've had it for years. They were the first cruise line to actually introduce a private outline years ago, and I was there. Not when they first started, but I was there in the 80s. I took my first cruise, Norwegian Cruise Line, and I fell in love with cruising. It was gorgeous, and went to their private outline in Great Stirrup Cay for the day. It was beautiful. What they're doing too is now they're actually going to be building a dock, so their ships will actually be able to dock there, which is great. But they got different areas. Just beautiful island. They've had expanded more areas too. And one thing too, I was there a couple years ago on the christening of a new ship too with the Norwegian Cruise Line, and I forgot, I've got a bar there. No, not really. They've actually got Bertram's Bar. Okay, so I had a picture taken when I was there a couple years ago under Bertram's Bar. My picture, okay, this is my bar, come see me, right? But it's not my bar, but they've got Bertram's Bar at their private outline, which is great too. Great Stirrup Cay, which is great too. So how fun. And I think I mentioned too is cruise line's not really well known. They run for a couple of years though. Is Margaritaville at Sea, and they're expanding their fleet. They have their new ship coming out, the Beachcomber, coming out they actually just acquired this ship from Costa Cruises. It's going to start operating under Margaritaville at Sea in 2026. It was previously the Costa Fortuna, and Margaritaville at Sea just got that ship. They acquired that ship from Costa Cruises, so it's going to be the Margaritaville at Sea ship called the Beachcomber. And as far as the size, it will have a capacity of 3,450 guests, and it features more than 1,340 staterooms. It's got 13 passenger decks, expansive outdoor spaces, and an 8-story center atrium. It's going to be undergoing a massive transformation to really incorporate Margaritaville's island-inspired design. And it's really great too, because once again, they've been really focusing in the past couple of years on building Margaritaville Sea too, because once again, people are not aware of it, and it's kind of interesting to think about it too, because they're offering some fun things too with their new Beachcomber. We're going to be rehabilitating it to adding more to it too, which is great. And what they're doing too is she's going to be sailing, I think, okay, it's going to be based in Port Miami. Okay. And Margaritaville Sea actually just launched in 2022. That came up with their Margaritaville Sea Paradise. That followed with their Margaritaville Sea Islander in 2024. So they've been transporting guests, thousands of passengers, and as mentioned, the Beachcomber is going to be one they just acquired from Costa Fortuna. They're going to be redoing the ship, major extensions, whatever, and they're going to also introduce 15 brand new experiences exclusive to the ship too, including some of their favorites for their guests too. And what's great too is they've got they're going to have some of their fan favorites include, of course, they got their 5 o'clock somewhere bar, Hemisphere Dancer. They've got Cheeseburger in Paradise and License to Chill, which is great too. So I think it's kind of fun to introduce this more than ever. And with the Beachcomber, they mentioned they want to create a design that really captures the spirit of fun, warmth, and relaxed adventure. And they're drawing experience from just what defines the brand too. Okay, and what they're going to be doing is they're going to be offering round-trip itineraries from Port Miami. And they're on sale right now too. They have Eastern Caribbean routes starting in 2027. Will feature 4 to 8 night in length, and visit the likes of Phillipsburg, St. Martin, St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, San Juan, Puerto Rico, Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, Bimini in the Bahamas, Oranjestad, Aruba, and then Bonaire, and also Williamstead, Curacao too. And as mentioned, they're going to be basing this ship in Port Miami. And like I said, that's going to be their ship, and it's going to be debuting under Margaritaville at Sea, debuting in 2027. As mentioned, she'll be offering 4 to 8 night cruises on Eastern and Southern Caribbean itineraries too. As mentioned, she will accommodate 3,450 guests, and it's going to be actually the Beachcomber is going to be actually Margaritaville at Sea. It's going to be their biggest ship right now too. And some other things about as far as details too, it's just they've only been around for a couple of years now, but it's really great because they're expanding, which is really, really great too. And as mentioned, the deployment really shows how Margaritaville really continues to grow in bold and meaningful ways too, which is great too. So keep in mind too, because once again, she'll be sailing out of Port Miami and offering different types of cruises too. So keep in mind too, because it's once again, new ships are always exciting, and Margaritaville at Sea is going to be around. It's been around for a couple years now, but this is really great news too, because once again, how fun too. So yes, but as mentioned, the new ship's going to be called Beachcomber. I love the name Beachcomber, which is great too. And then something else we've got coming up too is with Scenic Group. Scenic Group is really fantastic. What they did was they've got a new ship coming out. Okay, it's going to be called the Scenic Icon. It's their newest discovery yet, okay? And she's going to be debuting with her main voyages from Venice in April 2028. It's going to be joining their Scenic Discovery yacht fleet, and she'll be making her inaugural voyage from Venice in April 2028. And then her main season goes through March of 2029, which spans 110 ports and 21 countries. Isn't that amazing? 21 countries. How exciting is that, too? And it will carry 270 guests, and it has 135 all-veranda suites on 5 decks. There'll be 15 different dining venues, expansive lounges, a 2-level rejuvenation senses spa with a range of wellness facilities and treatments. And it's being built right now. The Scenic Icon is being built right now in the Comfy Shipyard in Croatia. Is designed to really excel in both the polar regions and also warm weather destinations too. So she will be actually an Ice Class 1A super strengthened hull and carry 2 Airbus helicopters, a custom built submersible Scenic Neptune 3, and also they call them Phasma tenders too. But that sounds really exciting, doesn't it? Once again, it's called the Scenic Icon. That's Scenic Group's newest ship. Once again, it's been really conceived, energized with their in-house shipboarding design at MKM Jets. And it's going to be the result of more than 3 years of passion, innovation, and development of our team, by their team too. And every element of Scenic Icon's device has been really optimized to deliver unrivaled experiences across diverse destinations and environmental areas too, primarily based in the Mediterranean, also to the wilds of Antarctica, which is really good too. So keeping in mind, new ships are exciting, but also, as mentioned, when we talk about ships, you'll say, okay, what's the best ship for me? But the point is, there are so many options out there now, more than ever. And before, came to building ships, people built new ships, big ships. But the thing is, I think we see more immersion that comes up with some cruise lines focusing on smaller ships. And this is one example too. Another example coming up next year is actually Four Seasons One. That's Four Seasons Yachts. Four Seasons One, their new ship coming out next year. She'll be debuting in March next year. And her passenger capacity is 180 guests. That's it, okay? And it's a Four Seasons yacht. It's a 670-foot, 14-deck vessel. It's been designed from inspiration from the Four Seasons Hotel, and also from Aristotle Onassis' classic Christina O super yacht. Features 95 luxurious suites, and it's actually, the cost to build is actually $4.2 million to build it. It's going to include door-to-floor ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows, terrace decks, plunge pools, also a 4-level funnel suite, and also they have a special person coming in as their captain. The captain of the Four Seasons One is actually Captain Kate McHugh. She's coming back. I'm so excited. She's an amazing person. It's probably been about 12 years ago. She actually became the first woman captain of a cruise line, American woman cruise line captain, right? Worked for Slurry Cruises, got hired, then she stepped down about a year ago, take some time off, and then she got hired to be captain for Four Seasons One, coming out next year in March, which is really great too. So I think it's kind of fun to think about that too. And as mentioned, I covered ships that just came out recently this past month. I'll mention them again too. We've got the Disney Destiny, which just debuted November 20th, which is great. It's their third ship in their Triton class, and it really features experiences around the Marvel superheroes too, with unique dining and entertainment venues that kind of feature their special characters too. And then of course, later this year they got the Disney Adventure coming, I think in December 27th. We'll see if it might get postponed, I don't know. But anyway, of course, we just had the Star Princess debut, christened earlier. It was actually in November. That's what actually was christened by Matthew McConaughey and his wife. They were the godparents, okay? and it looks phenomenal. I was actually down in Fort Lauderdale myself, close to Port Everglades, and I was there for my cruise conference, Cruise World. I was leaving on the 6th, but the fun thing is the ship had already docked there, so when I was walking back to the hotel, I was actually taking a picture of the background of the ship too. It was beautiful. So they just christened that ship too. And of course, another ship just got christened. Last week was actually Celebrity Excel. That's Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship. Their final ship is Edge class ship, but Celebrity Excel is actually spelled XCEL. Celebrity Excel. That was their newest ship. Their final ship in their Celebrity Edge class ships too was just christened. Looks phenomenal. And of course, we had Star Princess just christened. Another one christened earlier was actually the Brilliant Lady. That's Virgin Voyage's new ship, was christened in September, and they christened it actually in New York, which is great too. And I think we shared a previous viewing of the christening with Richard Branson, who was actually the founder of Virgin Voyages. It sounds such a fun thing too. And the Brilliant Lady is actually Virgin Voyage's 4th ship. Okay, it's great. And what's great too is they've added with Virgin Voyages. One thing I really like, I can see the Scarlet Lady in 2022 when she was able to actually debut from Port Miami. I was down attending a Sea Trade Cruise Club conference. They did was they invited us to go down to see the ship before she sailed out the next day. We were on board the ship for, oh my gosh, at least 8 hours. It was amazing. And she was docked in Port Miami. Got aboard the ship. And what they do is with Virgin Voyages, they don't have main dining rooms. You've got private different restaurants. Okay. And you've got entertainment, which is phenomenal. Beautiful pool area. Plus, one favorite spot I mentioned to the people too was they've got a special ice cream parlor. It's called Lick Me Till, which is really fun, and the ice cream was just phenomenal too. I love it too. So yes, but how fun! Once again, the Brilliant Lady was just christened earlier in September this year, and that took place in New York. Okay, but how fun too! And as mentioned, we've got more ships coming out next year. But once again, too, with the Oceania Allure just came out too, and once again, just fun things as far as new ships coming out too. As far as new ships coming out 2026, 27, 28, a few new ones include, of course, I mentioned the Four Seasons one coming out in March of this next year. And then we've got Windstar Cruises, the Star Seeker is coming out, I think she's going to sail out this December. That's going to be Windstar Cruises' new ship, the Star Seeker. And we've got, of course, next year I mentioned they've got new entertainment on the Norwegian Luna coming out in April 2026, of course. And then we've got, of course, the Four Seasons yacht. I think their second yacht's going to come out next year too. Just not sure the date. And we've got Windstar Cruises has got another ship coming out next year too. The Star Explorer coming out next year too. And then we've got Regent Seven Seas. They've got their Seven Seas Prestige coming out next year. Okay, that's a luxury cruise line. And also we've got American Cruise Lines. They've got 2 new ships coming out, the American Maverick and American Ranger coming out in 2026. Also Explorer Journeys, that's Explorer Cruise Lines. They've been around for a couple years now. But their Explorer 3 is coming out in August 2026. That is a luxury cruise line too. And she's going to be actually christened, I think, in August of next year. And then be sailing on a 7-night Barcelona to Lisbon. Her maiden season will, of course, be sailing in the Mediterranean, Northern Europe, also Greenland and Iceland, and also later on in the Caribbean too. So those are new ships coming out next year. We've got more ships coming out in 2027. I know that with Carnival Cruise Line, they got the Carnival Festival coming out next year. No, 2027, the Carnival Festival. We've got more Norwegian Cruise Line ships coming out too, which is great. We've got 2 more Prima class ships coming out, the 5th and 6th Prima class ships coming out, and those come out 2027, 2028. And then another MSC cruise ship's coming out in 2027. They got their World Atlantic. Okay, that's MSC Cruises, World Atlantic, which is great too. And Disney has some new ships coming out too. They haven't mentioned what the names are yet. It's too soon. These will be 2029. 2030, 2031 too, which is great too. And we've got, let's see, we've got, and with Celebrity Cruises, they've got a 6 Edge class ship coming out 2028, and the Carnival Tropicale is coming out 2028 too. And also we've got the Oceania Sonata coming up in summer 2027, which is great. But once again, a lot of new ships coming out the next couple of years, but new ones coming out next year. And definitely keep in mind, because once again, so many options to think about too. If you think about taking a cruise, it goes back to, okay, where do you want to go? What do you want to see? And also, I think as far as the size of ships, because once again, even with smaller ships, they have phenomenal entertainment. Cuisine is fantastic too, and options which are out there. So keep it in mind too, because once again, when the cruise industry first started, it really revolutionized how people could travel. Because originally, years and years ago, over 50 years ago, ships were actually more of a means of transportation, because they were used to get from over to Europe, across the Atlantic Ocean to the United States. And then they came up with different ideas to start maybe cruising as a vacation, which is great. And like I said, as mentioned, Norwegian Cruise Line was the first cruise line to actually open their own private out island, Great Stirrup Cay. Now cruise lines are really more private out islands too, which is really great too. Because with Celebration Key, that's one of the Carnival Cruise Lines just opened up, but also with Carnival Corporation, they own different cruise lines, including Princess Cruises, and Princess Cruises ships are going to be actually going to Celebration Key too, which is great. So that's really fun too, because with the private out islands, it's a great way to kind of relax and enjoy different things too. And what they do too is the only people there, of course, people on your ship, which is great. You've got really immersive experiences too, relax, entertainment, different areas to just enjoy the island, but different things to do too. One example, of course, is my own private out island, is actually Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve. That is MSC Cruises private out island, which is great. And what they did was, MSC Cruises actually had wanted to do a private out island. They negotiated with the Bahamian government. They found this island that was actually been around for a long time, and the company that actually owned the island left it. So with MSC Cruises, they actually negotiated a deal to lease that island from the Bahamian government for 100 years for $100 million. And with MSC Cruises, they actually invested more than $400 million because the island was trashed. They had to weigh 1,500 tons of scrap metal. The trees were dead. The sea life was dead. It was a horrible experience, but then they rebuilt it. I was there requesting one of their ships in 2000, I think, 22 or 21. 2021 it was there, and then came back, of course, this year. Was in the christening of the World America. It was beautiful. What they did was, when I was there the first time, they had an area, and they wanted to build an ocean conservation center too. So when I was there a couple of years ago, when they first opened the island, they did a sand cutting. And it was on the World America christening cruise back in April. We went there for over a day and a half. It was amazing. What they did was they had actually opened up their Marine Conservation Center too, which is great too. What they're doing there is they're actually building coral reef trees to put back in the ocean, which we really need more than ever. So once again, great examples of where you want to go, what you want to see, and just think about, okay, the experiences too. And as mentioned, what's great too is, one thing that's really grown in a very, very positive way has been river cruising. Beyond the European river cruises, of course, a good example, of course, is with Alma Waterways, offering different places to go to for river cruising too, but also in the United States, because we've got American Cruise Lines. They just having new ships coming out next year, I think, and also just christened one of their ships too earlier. They were on for a long time. Another one has been Victory Cruise Lines. I was actually in Victory Cruise Lines back in April myself too. What they do is they actually sail on the 5 Great Lakes. Right now, they're not sailing anymore. They're going to take time off because it gets too, as far as the waters in the Great Lakes, gets too freezing cold. What they're doing is they're going to restart their 5 Great Lakes cruises in the spring. I'll be learning more about that too. They've got their Victory 1 and Victory 2, their cruise line ships too. They're small, very great experience, because I actually had a chance to do the one on the christening of the MSC World Victory 1 too. That was actually, I got flown to Toronto, Canada, and we got aboard the ship the next day, and they christened the ship. We sailed out 5 Great Lakes, went different places too, which is great too. So once again, keep in mind what you want to do, where you want to go to, because there's so many options out there more than ever. So, but once again, great experiences with cruising, because once again, remember that good ship happens.
Yep, good shit happens, and I think we'll go out with the dogs again.
Okay, that's great too. Because once again, how funny! Because once again, Icon of Seas is going to sail out of Port Galveston in 2027.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of wondering if maybe Rover, the chief dive officer, might have a cowboy hat on, maybe
Maybe.
instead of a sailor hat. Maybe she have a cowboy hat. But I'll tell you what, Port Galveston was amazing. I was so excited to go there. I've never been there before. It was just amazing. You could tell my excitement. It was great to go there. And it's an island too, but like
Right.
they built this brand new port. It was gorgeous. My God.
Cool. I have to check it out. I think the network is supposed to be going to South by Southwest in Houston, and they might be sending me to that in March. So I might get to
Oh yeah,
Texas. It'll be
because
my first
I
time.
flew to Houston first. Had to go to
Okay.
another part of Texas to get the hotel. It was 45 minutes, but they took us down to then Port Galveston. It was less than an hour. Really beautiful.
Cool.
Once
All right.
again,
Well,
too, as I
let's check
mentioned
out the
before,
dogs.
I think Rover might maybe when Rover is on the
Yeah.
I can see Sealand of Port Galveston. Maybe she'll have a cowboy hat on too. Maybe.
Yeah. Hold on one second. All right. So we're going to get to the commercial right now.
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
As we're designing the best family vacation, there was one piece that was missing, which is, of course, the family dogs. And when guests go on vacation, one of the key things that they miss are their pets back home. And when our crew are sailing on board for their contracts, one of the things they miss are their pets back at home. And so we really wanted to make sure we brought a fluffy addition to our crew family. We went and got Rover, and here we are now for Star. We're picking up Sailor, and Sailor will be living on Star of the Seas.
Well, the Chief Dog Officer was an idea that we created actually when we were developing and concepting the Ultimate Family Townhouse. We were all sitting around saying, when you think about the Ultimate Family Townhouse, what does that mean? And all these ideas came around, and somebody threw out the idea of having a family dog. And we said, well, it feels a little selfish to have a family dog for just one family. Why don't we have a family dog for the family on board the ship? And so that's how the position evolved, and we thought, well, obviously it's a very important position, and of course all important positions on ships are called chief, so we thought Chief Dog Officer is perfect.
When we first came up with the idea for Project Rover or Project Sailor, we realized we don't really know a lot about what it means to take care of a dog on a cruise ship. And so we partnered with some of the most well-respected animal well-being certifiers globally to really help us create this program from the ground up and make sure that when Rover and Sailor are on board, they're having the best day every day.
So there's a very well-written, crafted position description that, of course, the Chief Dog Officer can't read. The key mission is to have fun, and that's exactly what Rover and Sailor do. They just have fun.
So Sailor is very small. She's about 16 weeks. And so when Sailor gets on board, she's going to take everyone's breath away. Sailor's life on Star will be full of adventure. She and her Chief Dog Officer role really means that she gets to go and explore the ship, go and explore our private destinations with our crew members, really just being that warm, welcoming family for her.
Oh, I just totally fell in love with Sailor. I fell in love with Rover as well, but I also fell in love with Sailor. She's so beautiful and loving and funny, and so I just completely fell in love. When we were thinking about the idea, one of the questions was, well, what will the crew think? Will the crew like the idea or not? And so one of the team members had a golden retriever and volunteered to bring the golden retriever down to one of our ships on a turnaround day, and we fitted the dog with a GoPro camera. It was very touching because after when we watched the video, so many crew stopped and hugged the dog and talked to the dog. When we saw that, we thought, wow, this is amazing. People miss their own family dogs.
And as we've done with Rover, as we're doing with Sailor, we really want to make sure we're focused on what's best for these animals. And really right now our focus is on Sailor and making sure that she is having the best life at sea when she gets on Star of the Seas in August.